Hi, my name is Pat. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm doing the reading habit tag. I saw Alexander Rosalind do this a few days ago and I decided this would be a fun video to make, especially since I haven't really done a lot of tags and a lot of videos talking more about myself. So the original video is not available anymore. I will just put the questions down below. Alright, so let's start. The first question is, do you have a certain place at home for reading? I do have a certain place at home for reading. In this room, I have my couch that I bought out of Goodwill, and that's where I usually read. Like 99% of the time, that's where I read. I rarely read on my bed, only like before I go to sleep. Sometimes I read a little bit, and the majority of the time I'm reading on my couch. Next one, bookmark or random piece of paper? I prefer bookmarks, but if I don't have one, then I'll just choose a random piece of paper. I don't dog ear if I really don't have anything I can put like in between the book that will not like cramp it. Like I'm not gonna put a pen or anything that's too thick in between the book to keep my place. I'll just remember the page number, or like if I know I won't remember it or have, sometimes I'll take it down, sometimes I don't, but yeah, I would just remember the number, but usually bookmarks, but any piece of paper, honestly. Next one, can you just stop reading or do you have to stop after a chapter or a certain amount of pages? I can just stop reading. I used to like stopping after like a certain chapter. Eventually I just like stop whenever, I feel like stopping or I have to stop. Usually I try to do it like after a paragraph so that it's not in the middle of a sentence, so I don't also kind of lose my place. So usually I will finish after like a paragraph or so. So yeah, next one, do you eat or drink while reading? Yes, I do. I try not to eat most of the time because I usually like end up staining my books, and I don't really like doing that to my books. So usually I'll drink something, or sometimes whenever I eat, I'll eat like foods that are easy to handle, that won't stain my hand or that won't stain my books or ruin my books in any way. So next one is multitasking, music or TV while reading. I can't do this. Well, back then I couldn't even listen to music, even like instrumental music while I'm reading, because I'm following the music. I usually like listen to like the notes and like the different instruments that they use for the music, for the instrumental ones. So I used to not be able to do that. But now I've started to, in a way, cancel out other sounds that are not pleasant to me while I'm reading. I like it when it's very, very quiet. But when there's like noise or like people talking or someone singing, etc., I would put like instrumental music on to drown out that sound, because it's a lot more pleasant to me to listen to something that has no words and focus on the book. And sometimes when I'm like overthinking and I can't focus, I would put a music on to kind of also do kind of the same thing, to like buffer what I'm thinking, make me focus more on the one thing that I'm doing. But TV, movies, I can't do that. If anybody's talking and there are words, I can't. It's too distracting. So yes, I can do instrumental music when I'm reading, but I usually like it very quiet. Next one book at a time or several at once? I used to be able to read several books at once, and then I stopped doing that and I did only like one book at a time. Now I like doing only one book at a time. Sometimes, it depends on the book. Sometimes I feel like I need to stop reading a certain book or like pause reading a certain book and then pick up a new one. But I usually won't like do it at the same time, like reading two books in like a day, one after the other, or like two different books in one day. Usually I'll put one book down if I feel like it, or if I need to like distance myself from the book for a bit, pick up a different one. When I finish it, then I go back to the other one. Usually I do that. I can't like read simultaneously like in a day or so. So next one, reading at home or everywhere? I prefer reading at home. I mean, I stay at home anyway all the time, but whenever I'm outside and it's pretty quiet, yeah, I prefer to reading at home. Whenever I'm outside, it's only because I'm usually doing something and I don't really like go somewhere to read. I like to be very comfortable when I'm reading, and that includes like the sounds, the ambience. I just like reading at my home, because usually when I'm outside, there are people walking and talking, and being outside, it's good to be outside, in the elements, in nature. I like that, but usually it gets very distracting, and yeah, like just having people around walking and talking distracts me a lot, so I don't enjoy my books when I'm outside reading. Usually if I'm like in my backyard and there's nobody, like none of my neighbors outside, then I can read. If somebody's outside, even just mowing the lawn or like doing gardening, I'm very like in tune to their presence, that it distracts me from, even when they're not doing anything loud or anything that will catch someone's attention. I get distracted, so I can't read, I can't focus. So I like being in my room all alone reading. Next one, reading out loud or silently in your head. I read silent. You know how people say that they read like out loud in their heads? I don't really do that. I don't read a lot in my head. Like whenever I'm reading, I'm not like reading every single word that I read. Sometimes when it's hard for me to focus on a book, or the book is a little bit more difficult to kind of not pay attention to, or if a book is really difficult for me to like really read and I have to like consciously like read every single word, then that's when I will read silently in my head. Sometimes I read out loud when I don't understand something. Usually I'll just read, not even like reading it out loud in my head, just read, like kind of skimming in a way, I guess you could call it that. But yes, next, do you read ahead or skip pages? I don't read ahead or skip pages. I don't think I've ever done this because I hate being spoiled. It kind of ruins the whole reading experience for me. Sometimes I can't help it when something like really tense is happening on the page. Sometimes I'll skip ahead and see what will happen, but usually I try not to do that. I would like literally cover like the next page, or like cover each sentence as I read them, so I don't like make myself read to the next part, because I enjoy the process of getting to that point, so I don't skip ahead or read ahead. Next, breaking the spine or keeping it light new. Keeping it light new. I've never broken a spine before. I've never had the need to break a spine. I personally don't like the look of broken spines. I do have a few books that are secondhands that I have broken spines, like my Frederick Bachman books. Is it? Oh no. Oh, these ones from Robert Jordan. Like the spine is slightly broken, like at the first few pages, and that's fine. It looks like it's fine to me. If it's like used and I can't find any other like better condition, etc., it's fine. But I personally will not break a spine. I would relax the spine, you know, the process of opening a book, and like especially for stiff paperbacks, there's a way to like break in the book so you don't end up with a broken spine. I do that. I take the time to do that. It doesn't take long. So I've never been like one to open a book and be like crack. You know, I feel like I want to keep my books as pristine as I can because I want to be able to like lend it to someone, and I don't want to ruin their reading experience with a book falling apart. I like to reread my books, and I like to have them not falling apart either. So I try to keep my books. I always try to keep my books in very good condition. If I were ever to resell any of these books, I could sell them in like almost new conditions or like very great conditions because I really take care of them. So yeah, I'm one to really take care of my books. I don't even annotate on my books. I do tab, but I don't write directly on my books ever. Not even on the cover, like using it as like on top of a page. If I have to do that, I go to the back page and do that. I'm just very careful with my books. That's just how I am with books. I like to take care of them because I like to collect them, and I like to just, if I look at them and pick them up, I want to be able to read them without them falling apart and them kind of being wonky when I read it. I'm very particular like that. But yeah, I just like to take care of my books. Next one. Do you write in your books? That's the last question. I actually don't. I don't ever write in my books. I have bought the clear sticky note, so if I do want to write on my books certain notes, I would use that one instead of actually writing on my book. But again, I'm not really one to write like on top of a page where your handwriting gets imprinted, and I write pretty like heavily, so it does get kind of imprinted on whatever surface I'm writing on. So if I were ever to when I do use the sticky notes, I will use them like somewhere where I'm not gonna be able to like leave any kind of permanent marks on the book. So yeah, I don't write on my books. I tab them, but I don't write anything. So that is the reading habits tag. I hope you guys enjoy this one, and let me know your reading habits down below. If you also have like certain things that you do the same thing as me, or you do the same, or you do the opposite of me. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I will see you on my next one.